Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Modern Monarchy. Cassie and I have been sitting here talking for entirely way too long.
Some of it was like technical issues. It's all good. We're all good now.
Everything's fine now. Oh, sorry, I just smacked the microphone.
We're off to a great start.
So sorry. So today's episode 16, and we will be talking about
my Manpiece, my Johnson, my Wilson, my Todger, my Willie.
No, we will not. Sorry.
Hey, shush.
Okay.
That's your mom telling you to shut up. Before we get to the fun part where we talk about this epic love story, I have a couple things to share with the class. So you remember not last week, but the last time we recorded, I got my newest Ashton Drake doll, and it was Sophie. So guess who we got now?
I don't know. I don't know who you had before. I don't know. I have no frame of reference.
We've already got Charles, Camilla, William, Catherine, and Sophie, and a corgi. Oh, and the Queen Elizabeth.
Okay.
So I got a new one.
Who's Sophie married to? That guy?
She's married to Edward, the Duke of Edinburgh, but this is supposed to be him. I don't know why he's completely grayed out. Because he definitely,
What does he actually look like?
He's not fully gray yet. This is from like maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah, they definitely did him dirty.
He's not this gray.
Yeah, that makes him look elderly.
Exactly. Rude.
Also, did they give him any, like the whites of his eyes? Does he have any white around? Mm-hmm. Oh, he does have a little. Okay. I thought they just went, like, full blue. And I was like, no. That's creepy. I think you got a defective one.
I know that he does like to dress a little dapper sometimes, but, like, there's nothing really distinctively Edward.
Is it a flower, maybe?
I don't know. I'm a little sad. We'll see who shows up next, if more come, because I don't know what's happening.
Do you get cards every time one shows up? How does that work?
Yeah, but they're like $20 or something. And but it's so like you sign up for the collection.
Got it.
And then they send you on like every 2 weeks or so.
Interesting. Huh. Okay. I thought it was like this funny relationship where like you signed up like in a single price and then they just shipped them to you randomly. Like a fun little like adventure.
Well, it is an adventure. I just
get charged for it every week. Or every week. For it.
I'm interested to see if they include Harry, Meghan, Andrew, Sarah,
are they
Diana.
Are they how many are there supposed to be?
No idea.
Oh.
I told you when I saw the collection on the website, it was just Queen Elizabeth, Charles. Is Camilla? Yeah. No. Yes. No? Oh, no, Camilla. There's Queen Elizabeth, Charles, William, Catherine, and a corgi. So the corgi comes with Elizabeth.
Got it.
But then Sophie showed up, and I was like, oh, we're still going.
Okay.
Now,
I think that's where I got that. Is that like because Sophie had shown up, you were like, how many are there? And
Yeah.
that's where my brain was like, why are they just like randomly sending you more of these? Got it.
But it will be interesting to see if they include people that are not in good standing.
And yet still using their titles.
Yep.
Anyways.
So, I got some other stuff. I really need to stop. But I wasn't looking for anything. I was on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, I love a Facebook Marketplace find.
I usually don't go on Facebook Marketplace because the occasional time I have looked, I always see like ginormous pieces of furniture that I want and I can't have because I have nowhere to put it. So I don't go. But then, I don't know, I was talking to my friend Angela and she's like on Facebook Marketplace all the time buying and selling stuff. She's obsessed with it. And I was like, I'll just look. I'll just see what people got around here. Found some things. So,
Long story short, I'm one of those people now.
there's a lady in Lake Oswego area in Oregon who sold me her grandmother's commemorative plates.
Ooh.
So this first one I'm going to show you because it's a little less important, but kind of cool. It is a plate commemorating the open of the... Oh, I thought it would say it on the plate. It doesn't say it on the plate. Now I have to remember. Oh, here we go.
Pop quits.
To commemorate the opening of the St. Lawrence Seaway. Do you know what the St. Lawrence Seaway is?
Yes.
You're like, I've heard it.
Also,
It's in-
I live near it.
Yeah, it connects like the ocean to the Great Lakes
Yeah.
up in Canada.
In Kanata.
So I have a commemorative plate where cause they brought the Britannia on the opening day and they toured it.
Oh, how fun.
And then this is actually
Did they not visit Lake Champlain, though? How rude.
that was the Canadian flag at the time. Fun fact.
Ooh. Wait, when did they rebrand? 1965.
I was gonna say 60s, but I was like, I think I'm confusing it with the Commonwealth flag that they drew up in Canada in the 60s.
Next plate.
Okay, this is the one that caught my eye, and the other one she just had, and I just bought them together. You ready?
Yes. Ooh.
Look at her.
Ooh. Oh, her coronation.
Coronation commemorative plate.
Wow. Look at
And
them.
it's got your English rose and the Scottish thistle, the four-leaf clover for Northern Ireland. If anybody sees anything representing Wales, let me know because I don't see anything. Usually it's a leek or a daffodil, and I don't see either one of those. So
we're feeling
sorry,
Wales that year.
It's really unfortunate because the heir to the throne is the Prince of Wales, so you think they would remember that one.
Yeah.
So that's that on that.
That's
Those
so
are my fun things. When I get my new apartment, I want to get like a bigger bookshelf behind me and I can put them on display.
There you go. Okay, how much did you pay for the plates?
Together, I paid $50.
Ooh, I was gonna say 40. So 50, but you got a third one, right?
No.
Oh, that was
I'm sorry, your cat's meow is like not really a meow. It's just a
She just makes noise. Huh. Oh.
Has she never talked to another cat before?
Yeah, she just kind of yells.
Aww.
Got it. So they threw in the. Got it. I know what you're saying though. That the less exciting plate is the one you got extra with the
Yeah.
coronation plate. Okay. For some reason, I was thinking you got two and like there was one more. Anyways.
No. I would not have picked out the Seaway one because she's so small on the plate. I wouldn't even have noticed she was on the plate.
Got it.
Queen Elizabeth. I definitely saw the coronation one, and then I was trying to, like, the coronation plate, I believe she wanted 30. And I was like, I only have 20s. Maybe I can find something else. But then the only other thing that I wanted was this other plate, which was $20. So I ended up paying 50. So she had to give me a 10 anyways. It's really not important, but
I only had a 20.
no, I
So
had 20s. I had multiple 20s.
But I like that you still bought two for 50.
Well, it was already like as soon as it entered conversation, I wasn't gonna go, nah, never mind.
I mean, well, fair, but it's just funny that you were like, I don't have a 10. So
Yeah.
I'll do that.
I'll try to bundle, but she was just like, here, same price. I was like, okay. She's like, I have a 10.
Anyways,
So
well, that's fun and cool, and now you like Facebook Marketplace.
I did, but I also still try to stay away from it because that was $50 I wasn't planning on spending, and I had to drive 45 minutes to go get it.
So really it was a loss, but okay.
Okay, so the woman that I bought the plates from asked me if I was getting them for myself or someone else. And then I said myself, and I just casually said I have a podcast about the British royal family, which is why I'm interested in this plate. And so she was really happy to give the plates to somebody who actually cared about them. And I guess she listens to royal podcasts. But she listens to podcasts on Apple Podcasts.
Oh, and are we not there?
So now we're on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Also on top of the regular Spotify and YouTube.
Okay, so what's that lady's name? We gotta shout her out.
Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah, for making this possible on Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio. And
I think on Apple Podcasts is where you ask people to rate your show 5 stars and 5 stars only.
oh yes, let's be very official. Please rate and share.
What else? There's another podcast that I listen to. They say rate us 5 stars and 5 stars only, and we are not looking for any critique or constructive criticism. We are just want to hear nice things about us. So that's all you got to write. Bye.
I love that.
We're not looking for constructive feedback.
I literally don't care what suggestions you have. Only tell me we're wonderful.
It's funny for that podcast because they are really crass a lot of the time. So a lot of the time it's like a Barbara commenting that these people say some really rude things. And he's like, duh,
That's
don't
our
listen. We do that all the time. We're not changing. Okay, let's start sharing. Okay, we have the slideshow up. We are ready. Our first thing we're going to do is I didn't put this little video clip advert in the last episode because I didn't think of it, I didn't think of it at the time. There's a lot of things that I left out of the last episode due to time. But I thought this was a rather important video clip because it definitely has colored my view of our feminist queen, Meghan Markle. And I'm going to play it in silent because I don't want to get dinged for any sort of copyright music. So if you're listening, we have Megan doing a Men's Health advertisement, I guess, where she's on the top of a graffitied building. She comes
Stripping?
out in what looks like a business suit with a skirt. Then she starts removing her top, showing her bra, putting on another top that she can tie up to show off her midriff. She's suggestively flirting
Grill?
with nobody off to the side while she sits against the graffitied wall, and now she's gonna seductively grill us a burger. I believe this pose right here is probably her trying. You know that the Transformers movie where
Yeah.
Megan Fox like leaning over the hood or the front of the car? I think she was trying to do that. I'm not sure if this was before or after Transformers,
Why is she
but
making a hamburger?
because that's hot
And
to
now she's
just eat a
eating the
ham.
hamburger. Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Cooking never looks so hot.
So this is 6 years after Deal or No Deal, where she was complaining that they only wanted her for her looks and they didn't want anything to do with her brain. And this is 2 years after she's already started working on Suits. Nothing about this was necessary for your job. You didn't need this to promote yourself because you're already on a cable television show. And I'm
Right?
pretty sure she did like an interview with the magazine. It was just entirely unnecessary from somebody who claims that they want to be taken seriously for what's in their brain and not just their looks.
Right? It almost
Anywho,
feels satirical. Like,
yeah.
it does.
She's the. I try not to like say somebody's not a feminist if they do something sexual because that's something she wanted to do, right?
Correct.
But I just feel like she's the most pick-meest feminist I've seen in a while.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a little bit non-compatible in my brain, but okay.
Like some of these things she was doing that were suggestive were like too much to the
For
point it
the
wasn't
male
even
gaze.
sexy anymore.
Right.
Anyways,
Overly performative.
I just feel like that was necessary because it is something that lives in the back of my brain every time she's like, I'm not a lady who lunches, I'm a woman who works. Okay.
Cute.
So, we're going to talk about Harry and Meghan.
Part one.
Part one. We're going to talk about them pretty much up until they leave the UK because I have entirely too many notes, thanks to Spare. I did choose this picture a little bit nefariously because this picture is them walking down the stairs in Australia. And if you look at other pictures from them walking down these stairs, they don't look like this, where like Harry looks concerned and she looks very devious.
Right? Like crazy.
But I just thought it was interesting because it looks exactly like how I feel about them. Where he's just like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm trying to make everything better. And she's like, yes, make everything better. Part 3 of Spare,
Okay.
Captain of My Soul. It's the end of June of 2016, going into July. What Harry's up to, he's not in the military anymore. He's settling in with the Royal Foundation and working with William and Catherine on their projects like Heads Together and Invictus. And he's just doing his regular royal engagements. On July 1st is when he's going to fly back to the UK from an engagement in France. What Megan's doing right at this time is she's on like her summer break from Suits, and she's gonna travel around. She's like freshly broken up from Corey, and according to Megan, that she was really intent on being single. This is what she says in the Harry and Meghan show. And she says, I had my career, I had my past, which she's never explained. I want to know where the past was going if it wasn't, if Harry wasn't there. Like, what was the plan? We don't know. So, before she leaves for her trip, her friend, I think it was Jessica Mulroney, because she says it was a castmate, and Jessica Mulroney was on Suits with her, and they were like besties for a little while. She told Megan, have fun on your trip, but don't get bogged down by the itinerary, and make sure you leave some room for magic. So Harry has just come back from France. He is sitting in Nottingham Cottage, which is on the grounds of Kensington Palace. He's sitting there, he's flicking through his phone on Instagram, and he sees his friend, Violet. He sees her post a Snapchat that she took with some, quote, young woman. And Harry was intrigued immediately. Now, you're wondering, do we have any photographs of said Instagram post that really reeled him in? And we do. It's this doggy filter from Snapchat. Apparently, he saw Megan's little doggy face and was like, who is that? I gotta have some of that.
What? What?
I'm telling you, you really gotta watch the Harry and Meghan Netflix show, because to see him sincerely go, who is that? And then see this face, you're just like, what?
Okay.
You can't. First of all, you can't even see half of her face.
I was gonna say, I'm like, it's her eyes and yep, her forehead, some hair.
So now you can read his version of events from Spare.
I can't wait. I was sitting around not caught, scrolling through Instagram. In my feed, I saw a video of my friend Violet and a young woman. They were playing with a new app that put silly filters on your photos. Violet and the woman had dog ears, dog noses, long red dog tongues hanging out. Despite the canine cartoon overlay, I sat up straighter. This woman with Violet, my God. I watched the video several times, then forced myself to put down the phone. Then I picked it up again, watched the video again. I'd traveled the world from top to bottom, literally. I'd hopscotched the continents. I'd met hundreds of thousands of people. I'd crossed paths with a ludicrously large cross-section of the planet's 7 billion residents. For 32 years, I'd watched a conveyor belt of faces pass by, and only a handful ever made me look twice. This woman stopped the conveyor belt. This woman smashed the conveyor belt to bits. I'd never seen anyone so beautiful.
So, as you can tell from the get-go, these two are a little dramatic.
No, what?
So this is his friend Violet Van Westenholz. Violet's father is Olympic skier Baron Piers von Westenholz.
Okay.
He's close friends with King Charles. And Jane von Westenholz, his wife, is a longtime friend of Camilla's. And in 2022, Jane was actually announced to be appointed as one of the Queen's official companions, like one of her ladies in waiting. So,
Okay.
her family is buddy with his family. They've known each other for a long
Forever.
time. Yeah. Her family, I guess, would regularly travel with his family to go on like skiing trips and fun things. She's also the PR director for Ralph Lauren, which is going to be kind of important in a minute.
Okay.
So, Harry calls Violet that night after seeing Meghan's picture to just be like, hey, who's that woman? She's really pretty. Even though I only saw her face with a dog filter on it. He's like, can you see if she wants to, like, share socials or whatever? So I went on the Harry and Meghan show on Netflix, and they kind of like half show you Meghan's email between her and Violet. So I just kind of like pieced it together. If you want to read Violet's email to Meghan after Harry calls her.
Between you and I, thought you might want to know this being newly single and all. I put our Snapchat on Instagram and Prince Has follows me. He's a friend. He called me last night dying to meet you. Hee hee hee. I might have to set you up. Hee hee hee.
So at first Megan's like, oh, who's Prince Has? That's a relatively valid question. We don't use the word has.
You're right.
And then, yeah, she agrees to, like, share Instagram handles. And Megan's going through the pictures on his Instagram. And what she says in the Netflix show is just another way that I feel like Megan is not in the present. She's kind of behind everybody when it comes to social media, because she says that you want to get to know somebody, you go on Instagram. That's your homework. That's how you get to know someone. And I was like, we for like the last 10 years online have all been talking about the fact that you don't know someone from their Instagram feed because that's what they want you to see.
Right.
That's their polished photo album. So that was annoying. Like, don't tell people that. Don't tell people that you should go on somebody's Instagram feed and be like, that's how you get to know somebody.
Especially when you look at this Instagram feed.
Yep, but
This
most of it
nothing.
doesn't even have him in it. One of them is like him from behind doing a handstand, and there's one where he's doing something with a rhino, but it's also from behind. Other than that, it's just wild animals. So I would learn he likes wild animals.
Right.
That's about it. So I think the reason why she says something silly like that's how you figure out how somebody is by looking at their Instagram is because ever since the engagement interview where she said that she didn't know who he was, everybody was like, that's impossible that you didn't at least Google him.
Right.
She's trying to fight the argument that obviously she would have Googled him. She's like, no, I didn't. I went on his Instagram. It's way better.
Learned so much.
Yeah. Then they start chatting, and I believe that very night, so July 1st, that night, they exchange numbers and start texting. They're both like very obsessively texting each other back and forth. Like it's for like the next couple of chapters or so, he's going to talk about all the time how panicked he is when he can't get to his phone. Because she's gonna, I don't know, think that he abandoned her or something.
Ah, yes, that sounds like an emotionally mature person.
Yeah, it's a little intense. And also July 1st is Diana's birthday. So of course Harry is like, Thanks, Mom. You did this. You got me my Meghan. Set up a date, but first Harry has to go to the Isle of Wight, where he's going to be in a sailing race that they have every year on Sir Keith Mills's boat called Invictus. Here is the Invictus boat when they went on their little sailing race.
I am the master of my fate.
Yeah. Apparently, the weather was really choppy that day, and he really had to go to the bathroom, and there wasn't a bathroom on the boat. So he peed his pants
Okay.
and told us about it. It's this is again one of those things where I'm like, you didn't have to include that because he pees his pants. Then they have the end of the race, so he jumps in the water to like rinse off, and then he has to run back to London and get ready for his date with Meghan on the same day that he peed his pants.
What a winner.
So exciting. They meet up at Soho House at 76 Dean Street. Now, Soho House comes up with Meghan very frequently because she's been a member of Soho House for, I think, since she started dating Trevor. I'm pretty sure he would have gotten her in. It's like a clubhouse, and they have them all over the world in the major cities. There's a Soho House in Portland, but it has terrible reviews, so I don't even want to try to get in.
That's probably the easiest one to get into.
Yeah, probably. There's a few, or a couple at least, in Los Angeles. Obviously, there's a couple in London.
I guess I didn't know
Meghan.
that they were like multiple places. Like I thought it was just one Soho House.
Yeah, they're all over the place. So that, like, you're a member and you get like discounts if you stay the night there and whatnot.
Got
So
it.
basically, if you go to a major city and you're part of the club, then you have somewhere to stay, and it feels a little more homey than like a regular hotel, which is nice.
Membership on average is $2,500 a year.
That's not that much.
This is the one in Portland.
So Meghan tells Harry that they're going to meet up at Soho House because she's there all the time, she says. And sometimes she just leaves her luggage at Soho House for weeks. They store it with no question, and the people there are like family. Okay, now Cassie's going to read a couple of pages from Spare about the beginning of the first date.
The traffic was terrible. It was Sunday night. People were streaming back into London from their weekends in the country. Plus I had to get through Piccadilly Circus, a nightmare at the best of times. Bottlenecks, construction, accidents, gridlock. I ran into every conceivable obstacle. Again and again my bodyguards and I would come to a full stop in the road and we'd just sit. 5 minutes, 10. Groaning, sweating, mentally shouting at the mass of unmoving cars. Come on! Finally, it couldn't be avoided. I texted, running a bit late. Sorry. She was already there. I apologized. Horrible traffic. Her reply, okay. I told myself she might leave. Do you like that?
Okay.
I'm trying to keep up with what he's saying. For those who can't see this. I told myself she might leave. I told my bodyguards, she's gonna leave. As we inched at the restaurant, I texted again, moving, but still slow. Can't you just get out? How to explain?
This part pissed me off. Like, there are times when I read Spare that I highlight in red, and those are times when I read something and I instantly am enraged. And this is one of them that I had highlighted in red. I was like, what do you mean? Can't you get out?
Right?
Yes, Prince Harry, please just get out of the car and walk down the street in the middle of London.
Right?
What would go wrong?
She's not that famous. She doesn't know. How to explain? No, I
She
couldn't.
acts like she is.
Well, I wasn't able to go running through the streets of London. It would be like a llama running through the streets. It would make a scene, cause a security nightmare, never mind the press it might attract. If I was spotted high stepping towards Soho House, that would be the end of whatever privacy we might briefly enjoy. Also, I had 3 bodyguards with me. I couldn't ask them to suddenly take part in a track and field event. Texting wasn't the way to convey this, however, so I just didn't answer, which surely irritated her. At last I arrived, red-cheeked, puffing, sweaty, half an hour late. I ran into the restaurant, into the quiet room, and found her in a small sitting area on a low velvet sofa in the front of a low coffee table. She looked up, smiled. I apologized profusely. I couldn't imagine how many people had been late for this woman. I settled into the sofa, apologized again. She said she forgave me. She was having a beer, some sort of IPA. I asked for a Peroni. I didn't want beer, but it seemed easier. Silence. We took it all in. She was wearing a black sweater, jeans, heels. I knew nothing about clothes, but I knew she was chic. Then again, I knew she could make anything look chic. Even a bivvy bag. The main thing I noticed was the chasm between internet and reality. I had seen so many photos of her from fashion shoots and TV sets, all glam and glossy, but here she was, in the flesh, no frills, no filter, no dog filter, and even more beautiful. Heart.
So, tell me what kind of vibes you're getting from Megan through Harry's story before I give you mine.
That he's inconveniencing her.
Yeah.
Like, he seems so, like, he's already put her on a pedestal, and she's just like, cool.
Immediately. Yeah, she's perfection. So what I am getting is that when she started dating in the early 2000s, I think it was more popular back then for you to turn dating into kind of a game where you don't want to be the one that gets heartbroken and left in the dust.
Oh,
So
so
when
you,
you
like,
first
act
meet
cool.
somebody, you act real cool and a little uppity. And then when you text people, you don't text them immediately. You give them a little space to breathe because you want them to think that you're busy. And it irritates crap out of me because those kind of people, I will immediately stop talking to when I feel that vibe because it's just like, we're supposed to be trying to date, which means we're supposed to be interested in each other. You acting like you're not interested is not interesting.
Right. It's like, if you're not interested, move on. Don't waste my time.
So, yeah, dating was kind of a game, and I hate it. But I don't like that he's texting her, explaining what's happening. I'm late, here's what's happening. I'm sorry, I'm coming. Like, he's updating her. If he was some asshole that's just going to make you wait a half an hour on the first date, I don't think he would be updating you along the way.
Right. He just wouldn't say anything.
Say nothing, or you just get one text, like, gonna be late, and then you just, like, wait around until they show up or you leave.
Right.
But when he showed up, and he was clearly in a panic, I think she immediately clocked what kind of person this was, and she was like, this could be easy. This is going to be so easy. So they hang out for about an hour. And then, this face right here. When she said, I told him I had other plans.
It does feel really schemy.
Right? I'm like, when I saw this the first time, I was like, did she actually have plans? Or is this part of playing the game of like, I'm so busy, I'm not like obsessed with you. I am busy. I have things to do.
Right. I only have an hour for you, Prince Harry.
Yeah. There's just something about that face that makes me question if she actually had plans later.
Feels very calculated, yes.
After they hang out, Harry goes to hang out with a friend, have a little drink, smoke a little weed, watch a little Inside Out.
What?
The movie Inside Out.
That's a sad movie.
Yeah, I don't think I would ever watch that movie under the influence of anything, because when Bing Bong goes, it's over. Waterfalls.
I was like bawling. And I was like, oh yeah, no wonder I wiped this from my brain.
Yeah. Okay. So, setting up the scene here, he's drinking, he's weeding, and he's crying probably. And Megan cold calls him. This is the same night as the first date where she was busy afterwards. She not only cold calls him, she cold FaceTimes him.
That's wild.
Isn't it? So
You
then
didn't
he
know
is
that
like,
person well enough to just FaceTime them.
I know. I wouldn't cold FaceTime anybody. I barely even make phone calls without confirming that somebody has time to have a phone call right now.
Unless it were like some sort of emergency where I needed somebody to see something.
Well, yeah.
But like, that's not this.
So apparently she called to make sure that he knew that she had a good time. And then they had to schedule their second date, which I guess you could technically really call it their first date, because that first one was like a quick dinner for an hour. But whatever. We're scheduling the second date. But she's leaving in 2 days, so the second date has to be tomorrow. So, tomorrow comes, but during the day, Megan and Violet go to Wimbledon because Violet had organized a publicity day for the brand Ralph Lauren at Wimbledon, and she invited her friend Megan to come along. And apparently the woman that Megan was sitting with at Wimbledon, she said that they were sitting there looking at like the other good-looking men in the crowd around them, and this woman was like, "Oh, like what about that actor over there? He's pretty hot, right?" And then this lady found out that later she was going to be having a date with Prince Harry, anyways, so that was not going to happen. Going to date that handsome man over there. But I just found that interesting because Megan had made it very clear in the Netflix show that this summer she was intent on being single. But we're clearly on the hunt for a man.
Right?
Okay, so after Wimbledon, we go back to Soho House for our second date. Megan's 5 minutes late, but you know, that doesn't matter. She can be late. He can't be late. That makes her mad. She wears a pretty blue sundress with white pinstripes. That's going to come back later. It's now the 4th of July. So Harry brought her red, white, and blue cupcakes for the 4th of July. And they sit down, and they have the same waitress as they did the night before. And she's excited to see that they're having a second date. And she brings them their first drinks. And then pretty much as soon as she leaves, they start making out.
Oh!
Yep. Because he says when she comes back, they're in the middle of a kiss, and it's not their first. You know, like, you just had first drinks on your second date.
Right?
What? Okay, so we're already making out in public. They decide that they want to give it a go. And Megan is about to go off to Spain and Italy for more of her, what's that? Eat, love, pray?
Mm-hmm.
Eat, pray, love. That's the one.
You had
That's
the right
the
words.
Basically, she tells him it's her eat, pray, love summer. And he was like, what is that? And she was like, oh, it's a book. And he's like, oh, she reads. I'm like, calm down, bro.
The bar is low.
The bar is low. So she's going off to Spain, Italy. He has some engagements he has to do for his job. And she was like, well, I do have this week off because my friend told me to save some room for magic. And he also had that week off. And so they planned a trip to Botswana.
As a romantic couple would. That's
Yeah.
definitely at the top of my list.
They've talked for what, 3 hours? Because the first one was 1 hour. The second date, they at least had 2 rounds of drinks and food that they didn't eat, and they just made
second
out.
base.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're going to
And
Botswana for a week.
now they're going to Botswana.
But also, what's in Botswana?
Tej and Mike.
Oh, that's right, his weird friends.
His
Like-
mom, Tej, and
Oh,
Mike.
yeah, that's right. But it's weird.
He likes going down to Africa. He says it all the time. I think he mostly just likes being out in the middle of nowhere where he can just do whatever, you know?
That
And he
makes
also
sense.
likes, I think he actually likes his charities that he works for, saving wildlife. And I think he enjoys doing that stuff. But I think what he really enjoys about Africa is getting away.
Yeah, I could see that.
So we go to Botswana. They don't go together. She's coming from Toronto. He's coming from London. So he's there before she is. Harry has Tej meet her at the airport. Apparently, she already shows up in like shorts and a t-shirt, but also hiking boots, which I don't understand why you'd be on the plane with hiking boots. Did you think you were just gonna immediately go for a hike as soon as you landed?
She gotta look the part when she gets off the plane.
That bothers me when people go to Africa and they look like they're going on a safari, but they're not. And you're just like, why don't you just dress like yourself and go to Africa? You don't have to put on a costume. When she gets to Tej and Mike's house, he greets her with a chicken sandwich. A chicken salad sandwich, as you do. He thinks that she's perfection, obviously. In her jean shorts, hiking boots, and Panama hat. I asked about the flight. She laughed about the Air Botswana crew. They were big fans of Suits, so they'd asked her to pose for a photo. Of course they did. So, from Tej and Mike's house, they hop in the truck and they head out to their campsite. So, Harry says that their tent is a bell tent underneath a sausage tree. Do you know what a sausage tree is?
No.
Okay, so you see these nice flowers in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay, so first, when it flowers, it has these really pretty flowers that emit a certain stink that attracts bats. So that's fun.
Bat tree.
And then and then when the flowers fall off, the fruit grows, and the fruit just looks like big old sausages hanging out of the tree.
Interesting.
I'm not sure I want to be under that.
Right?
I'm pretty sure that would hurt when they fall.
What do those even taste like? Can we
I don't
get them
know.
here? Or would you,
So it says the fruit pulp is poisonous to humans and
Oh.
strongly purgative, causing blistering of the tongue and skin, though the seeds may be roasted and eaten safely. Although at that point, why?
I was gonna say. Never mind. What do they taste like? Well, death.
Oh, death. Blisters. They already have nicknames for each other. He calls her Meg or M because they like to call each other H and M. He was shocked that she only brought essentials in her little bag and that she didn't like have your stereotypical diva Hollywood actress brings her own duvet and everything. All she brought was some extra clothes and some snacks and a yoga mat. Because of course she had to have the yoga mat.
Well, she's doing Eat, Pray, Love. Duh.
Ah!
You're gonna do yoga in all your locations.
So they're in one tent together, but they're on the campsite with the rest, like TJ and Mike. I don't know if there were other people there. I definitely know TJ and Mike were there because they would all have dinner together, grilling it over the fire. And Harry would make bush cocktails, which is whiskey with a splash of river water.
That sounds like a great way to get a parasite.
Yeah. He's under the impression, though, that the water is the purest water in the world. I don't know who told him that. I wouldn't believe it. But okay.
I wouldn't either. I went to Botswana and all I got was the love of my life and diarrhea.
Adorable.
Slap that on a t-shirt.
I guess Tej gave them a tent that had 2 beds in it to not be presumptive that they were going to sleep in the same bed, but they pushed them together real fast. I don't know. Some of us assume that this is where they start being intimate because what else are you going to do for a few days out in the middle of nowhere?
And also you pushed your beds together.
Mm-hmm. He keeps repeating that she's perfect. Meg leaves. Harry continues to hang out with TJ, Mike, and some other friends. They go on a trip together, and while he's jet skiing, he drops his phone in the water. So,
Oh, no!
he can't text Megan. All the old texts are gone, and any pictures they took together, gone. So, of course, he's freaking out. He gets a piece of paper and a pen, and he writes her out a handwritten letter. And then he has Tej take a picture of the letter and text it to Megan because Tej has Megan's number just in case something happens.
Makes sense.
Later, he gets the chance to bring a satellite phone with him, and he calls her, and she answered. Before I could speak, she blurted, "I shouldn't say this, but I miss you. I shouldn't say this as well, but I miss you too." And then we just laughed and listened to each other breathe. I can't with these two. By the end of August, Megan will go back to London for them to meet up at Soho House.
Oh, who would have guessed?
Yeah, so Harry goes over to Soho House and immediately just goes to her room, and he said something along the lines of, "We barely had time to put the do not disturb sign on the door." So this is my picture of what they did.
Do not disturb. We're jumping on the bed.
I found a picture of a bedroom at Soho House, and the picture was just boring. So I put them on the bed.
I mean, I'm sure not far off.
And the next day, they're going to go grocery shopping before they head over to Notcott to have dinner with Eugenie and Jack and Harry's friend Charlie. Would you like to read the next 2 slides, please, about going grocery shopping?
Of course we couldn't go to Waitrose together, because that would cause a riot. So we drew up a plan to shop simultaneously, in parallel, and in disguise, without visibly acknowledging each other. Meg got there minutes before me. She wore a flannel shirt and a bulky overcoat and a beanie, but I was still surprised that no one was recognizing her. Plenty of Brits watch Suits, surely, yet no one was staring. I'd have spotted her in a crowd of thousands. Also,
it's almost like she's not that famous.
I mean, also, no one looked twice at her trolley, which was filled with her suitcases. Her 2 large Soho House bags containing fluffy dressing gowns she'd bought for us on checking out. Equally anonymous, I grabbed a
Those are.
basket.
Do you know what a dressing gown is?
No.
It's a robe.
Oh, got it. I'm like, okay. Equally anonymous, I grabbed a basket, walked casually up and down the aisles beside the fruit and veg. I felt her stroll past me. Actually, it was more of a saunter than a stroll. Very saucy. We slid our eyes toward each other. Just an instant, then quickly away. Meg had cut out a roasted salmon recipe from Food and Wine, and with that we'd made a list and divided it in two. She was in charge of finding a baking sheet, while I was tasked with finding parchment paper. I texted her, "What the F is parchment paper?" She talked me onto the target. Above your head. I spun around. She was a few feet away, peering from behind a display. We both laughed. I looked back at the shelf. This? No, the one next to it. We were cackling. When we got through our list, I paid at the checkout, then texted Meg about where to meet. Down the parking ramp, under the shop, people carrier with the blacked out windows. Moments later, our shopping snug in the boot, Billy the Rock at the wheel, we roared out of the car park, heading for Notka. I watched the city going past, all of the houses and people, and I thought, I can't wait for you all to meet her. Blech.
Ridiculous.
Like, no fucking way.
I needed to put this story in because she's going to go grocery shopping later by herself. And you just need to remember this story.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So after they go grocery shopping, they go to Notcott. This is Notcott.
Fab. Love flowers.
Yeah. We're going to have dinner with Eugenie and her, at the time, boyfriend, Jack, and Harry's friend, Charlie. According to the Oprah interview, Meghan knew Eugenie before she met Harry. And the only explanation of that I can figure out is that some people think maybe it's because she goes to Soho House that she met her there as part of like the Soho group, people that hang out there.
Got it.
She makes her salmon dinner, and everybody complimented her for her culinary talents, despite the fact that this was a recipe she got from a magazine. And I doubt it was much more than just like season the salmon and throw it in the oven.
Right. Bake the
What else?
salmon with some spices.
What else are we doing with salmon? Megan. Okay, so after dinner, they drink a little bit. Not too wild, but they do have some drinks. But either way, the end of the night, Megan goes to bed not feeling well. And then she gets up at 2 o'clock in the morning because she has to get sick. And
Was it the fish?
so Harry asks her, like, what's going on? Like, did you eat something weird? And she's blaming it on the calamari she had at a restaurant before they went grocery shopping. Not the salmon she just had a few hours ago. It's definitely the calamari that I had almost an entire day ago.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. It was the calamari. And of course, he goes in to like make sure she's okay, and he's holding her hair back, and she's like, "Please tell me you're not having to hold my hair back while I'm vomiting." And he's like, "I'm here for you. That's what love's about. We care about each other." He didn't say the love thing to her. He just said it in the book, like, this is what it's all about. We just care about each other. They go to Frogmore Gardens the next day and to go for a walk. And they point out that they really enjoyed seeing the swans, including this really grumpy swan that they call Steve. It's another Steve.
It's another Steve. Also, here's the thing about this.
Yeah.
From my personal experience. My uncle, your dad, named Steve, as we've already established here, One might think that Uncle Steve was a grumpy goose. However, he's
He's a grumpy
really...
swan.
Sorry, grumpy swan. But he's really just a nice guy under there. A man of simple things.
Also, as we know from a couple of episodes that we've done now, that in college, William's friends called
Called
him
Steve.
Steve.
Yeah.
And from the POV of Harry and Meghan, William is a grumpy swan.
So it makes sense.
It's appropriate. And just before the little rendezvous is over, they decide that they are never going to go more than 2 weeks without seeing each other. While she's living in Toronto and he's in London.
Yeah, that
I
makes so much sense.
feel like that's a little extreme.
Well, when you have money.
I'm just saying, for people who want to tell the rest of the world that through his company called Travelist, where he's helping people like lower their travel emissions or like carbon and whatnot, like then you should probably stop traveling all the time.
Yeah, that's how
Anyways.
it goes, though.
So Meghan leaves. Harry tells William and Catherine that he's seeing a new lady, and he tells them who it is, and Harry says that William and Catherine watch Suits religiously, and that he was like, oh my gosh, if I bring Meghan around, they're probably going to ask for her autograph. And I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, no, but okay.
Harry's getting excited because he thinks this is going to be the one. And then he and Meghan and William and Catherine can all hang out and they will have the best time ever and be the Fab Four that he's always wanted to be. And William's telling him, you're getting really excited about this. You might want to, like, slow it down a bit. And Harry didn't like that. October 2016. I don't know if you recognize Royal Lodge at this point from seeing it in the news a lot. This is where Andrew lives currently.
Ah.
And it's a big deal because it's actually one of the bigger royal residences, and so everybody wants him to get out of it.
I'm surprised now that he's been stripped of his title that he hasn't been.
It seems like they're in the process of moving him out. But I'm also wondering if like they're trying to make it seem like they are, but it's going to take so long that we might forget about it and just ignore it or something, because no progress is being made on that. So October 2016, she meets the York family, so Andrew and Sarah, and Eugenie's there too, because Eugenie's around all the time. Also, the Queen decided to show up after church. So, just before they get there, like a little bit before they get there, I guess they tell Meghan that the Queen is going to be there, and they're like, do you know how to curtsy? And she was like, excuse me? It's your grandma. And he was like, she's the Queen.
I was gonna say, I'm like, that's not how that works. Not here.
What are we not getting? Apparently, Sarah Ferguson helped her, like, practice her curtsy before she went inside. But for some reason, Meghan decides in the Netflix show that she's going to show off how she curtsied for the Queen. And it is right here on this silent video. So
we have medieval times.
So she does this really dramatic, like, dying swan bow. And she's like, oh, I'm so cute. I didn't know what to do. And even Harry's sitting there like,
cringing.
Right. Like,
He's
I can't
really
tell
like,
you.
oh my god, stop.
He's like, I can't tell you that's
That was bad.
that was bad
Because
because
even I
you're
know it's like a
perfect.
quick like,
Right. I mean, you can go down deeper if you want to, if you have the muscles to do so.
right, but it's really just a little like, doot, doot.
Right. And I feel like if she'd have done that in front of Sarah when they were practicing, they would have
Right?
been like, no, that's too much.
Right,
So I
doesn't
don't
matter.
know what happened. If you practiced beforehand and then you still did
Maybe
that,
Sarah told her to do that.
maybe. But Harry was there when it was happening, and like, I just, it looks to me, it's disrespectful to their culture, which, as an American, you don't have to bow to the Queen or curtsy to the Queen, but if you want to join her family,
Yeah, you probably should be decent at it.
you should probably just show some respect and like show that you are trying and you're not trying to just be like cutesy about it.
Right.
So a lot of people were very
Our
upset
culture is
about
not
that.
my costume.
Yeah. During the time that she's there, the Queen asks Meghan what she thinks of Trump because it's 2016, right before the elections. And Meghan kind of redirects the conversation by talking about the fact that she lives in Canada. And I'm like, so you're not voting?
Oh.
Pretty sure it's still important for you to vote
Right.
because you're not Canadian and you're not Maltese.
And you're also not British.
Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started. And then when the Queen is leaving, this is not from the actual thing. This is just a picture of the Queen and Andrew in the same place where he's helping her down the aisle here. So basically, when they're leaving, Andrew helps or like walks to the door with his mom, holding her bag. And Meghan asks Harry about the Queen's quote assistant. And this is where Harry goes, oh, she definitely didn't Google us if she doesn't recognize Uncle Andy over here. And my note says, boy, she is playing you. There's no way, as a 35-year-old woman who majored in international relations and has been hanging out with your cousin Eugenie longer than she's been hanging out with you, that she doesn't know Eugenie's dad. She's at his house right now. Like, why would she think he's the Queen assistant? That's nuts.
I mean, okay, but here's the thing. Either she's very calculated or she's very dumb, and both are bad looks for her.
That's the thing. Is she constantly is saying, I didn't know about things that are obvious all the time. And if every single time I hear her or Harry say, well, she's American, I'm like, don't talk for us. Do not talk for me.
That's like when I went to Spain and they were just yelling at us and they're like, F Trump. And we were like, we didn't vote for him. Like, I don't like this either. Like, don't yell at me just for being associated with them. I don't want to be associated with them.
Yeah.
Us Americans, we don't know anything.
On this same trip to London, Meghan meets William. Catherine is out with the kids somewhere. She meets William and she immediately hugs him. And he gets a little, like, stiff, but I kind of hugs her back, but is still like, what the fuck is going on? And Meghan and Harry again are like, well, she's American. Americans like to hug everybody. And I'm like, I'm not a hugger.
I I'm a hugger, but only with people I know, and like there's like some level of
I
consent. I'm not just meeting somebody's sibling for the first time who is also a royal prince, and not being like,
who's going
I
to be
can just
the
hug
future
you.
king of England.
Like, I can just hug you. I'm American. Woo.
I've been dating your brother for a few months now from Toronto.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Think
we've
we
hung
can
out
hug.
6 times. For him.
I have like a handful of people I will hug. Like even there's people that I like that I will physically hug them, but on the inside I'll be like, I don't want to be doing this right now. So yeah, she meets William, she hugs him. Harry doesn't like that William is not completely warm and loving back. And
Enamored with
then,
her as he is.
right, why doesn't everybody else see that she's perfection? William and Harry go on a trip, and Megan gets to go hang out at Knotcott all by herself.
Oh,
She just started dating this guy, and she already is staying in a royal residence all by herself overnight. How fun!
guess so.
You trust her a lot, dude.
Right? She could have just
She's gonna
taken a
go
shit
through
ton
your shit.
and leave.
Yeah. A few weeks later, she comes back to London and she gets to meet Charles and Camilla while they're going up to the room that they're going to have tea together. Harry tells her, when you greet my dad, the proper protocol is you call him Your Highness, and I almost said Your Majesty, but it's not when he's a prince. You say Your Highness, and then, or you can say Sir, and you can just like shake his hand if that's what everybody's comfortable with, and you should curtsy to him. But you don't have to curtsy to Camilla. And I think that was just because of his personal feelings toward Camilla, which I understand you don't like her. Perfectly valid. I don't like that you put Megan in the middle of this. You're going to make her kind of disrespect your dad's wife, and she doesn't know what's going on.
Right.
That's not nice. What's that about?
Just fuck you, Camilla.
If I found out after I met my new boyfriend's parents that he told me to do something that was disrespectful to one of them and I didn't have consent, like I did not have informed consent to me disrespecting somebody, I would be pissed.
Which I feel like is fair.
I would be like, you can let me make that decision if I want to disrespect her or not.
Right?
Otherwise, it was a lovely conversation.
With a dash of disrespect.
Yeah. So at the end of October, it's Harry's turn to fly out. He goes to Toronto. Apparently, Eugenie and Jack go too. Why not? I told you, Eugenie's always around. They all go over to Toronto and they go to a Halloween party, which is apocalypse themed. Harry actually called Tom Hardy because he's his friend and borrowed his actual costume from the movie Mad Max. What I think is cool, but whatever.
I mean, it is cool.
I guess while they were there, Jason Knopf, the communications secretary for Kensington Palace, lets them know that the tabloids know that they're dating. And it's about to be published in the news, probably tomorrow. So they kind of use this party as like, this is the last time we get together before everybody knows and everything's going to get more complicated.
At least they had a few months.
Harry says about like the news breaking, he's like, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be really difficult, but trust me, I'll keep you safe. Which is also something he said to her in Botswana when they were in their tent and Megan heard like elephants outside and she was like, oh my gosh, what's going on outside? Are we okay?
Things
And
are
he's like,
rustling.
he just like put his arms around her and was like, "Don't worry, I'll keep you safe." It reminds me of the fact that every time Meghan talks about Harry to this day, the three things she'll say about him is he loves me very much, and I enjoy his like childlike playfulness, which I don't think is very complimentary. And then
I like
the
that
other
he's an
thing,
idiot.
and the other thing is her pretending that he's her knight in shining armor and he's saving her from the media. But I think that's just her way of making him feel better.
Makes sense.
Like, you're my protector. I'm just a poor little lady. So, October 30th, 2016, it's all over the news that there's a rumor that Meghan and Harry are together. That's not confirmed. But already some of the headlines are a little racist. So this one is the big one. This is the one that they point to all the time when they're trying to say everybody's racist all the time. They just keep pointing to this article. First of all, I know the Daily Mail is a British paper, but this is the US edition, and the reporter was in Los Angeles. So why did you move to Los Angeles? They are also racist there. There is a argument that this article title could just be classist, because a lot of times the coverage for the girlfriends is classist. That was with Catherine, and it also was with Meghan. But I think this one is specifically racist because if Harry was dating a white LA Hollywood actress, they would not say that she was straight out of Compton.
You're right, exactly. They're not going to be like, straight
Even if
out of Martha's Vineyard.
she would have actually had to have been living in Compton before she went there for them to say that. Like, Meghan never lived in Compton. But then she also has to be careful about how she says that, because she's like, not that there's anything wrong with Compton, it's just that I'm not from there. In Spare, this is when Harry starts spiraling, and for the next few hundred pages, there's going to be storyline, and then it's going to weave back into Harry telling you like 5 new headlines that came out in the news this week that he has to complain about. And he is constantly going to be going to his family saying, when are you guys going to do something? When are you guys going to put something out there to tell everybody to stop? And he keeps getting the feedback of, just shut up. We can't make them stop, bro.
Do you think he's just like slightly traumatized because of his mom, though, in a lot of ways, where he's like, well, you're going to drive her to madness, or you're going to drive her away because I saw like how the media influenced my mom?
Very much so. He constantly says that the way the media treats them specifically, he is afraid for Meghan's physical safety. Whether it's a death threat that's going to come to fruition, or paparazzi chasing her in a car and she's going to get in an accident and die.
Mm-hmm.
Or later on, she's going to get really depressed about it because people are not saying nice things about her. So some of the things that he points out at this point, which these are things that people are saying in the news when this relationship isn't even confirmed yet. It says the Telegraph entered the fray with a piece slightly less disgusting but equally insane, in which the writer examined from all angles the burning question of whether or not I was legally able to marry a gasp divorcee. And like, that's a valid question, my friend.
Right?
It has been a problem many a time in your family, but you wouldn't know that because you don't pay attention to anybody but yourself. Somebody claims that she was having an affair with a hockey player, and he was so concerned about that, he actually asked her if that was true, which of course upset her.
How How dare you
Um,
accuse me of that while I'm living across the world and you have no way of knowing because we
this is
hardly
one of
know
those.
each other.
This is this is one of those instances where I believe that Harry thinks we all believe the tabloids because he believes the tabloids. Like,
Right?
dude, we're not all that gullible.
Well, some of us are apparently.
Like, I will take information from an article that has a vague source, and I will take that information and I will just park it in the back of my brain, waiting for further confirmation down the line before I state that as fact. I'm not saying everything in the news is true, though.
Right.
Oh, and Harry already wants to start suing people.
Already?
But, yeah. But Jason Knopf, the communication secretary, says you're just gonna feed the beast. Silence is the best option.
Very British.
Very
Very
true.
British of them.
Very true, though. This whole book is just feeding the beast.
You're not wrong.
November 8th, 2016. Harry kind of demands that Kensington Palace make an official statement. An official palace statement telling the media to be nice to his girlfriend.
Everybody be nice.
And the way that Harry justifies being so upset just for Meghan and never having been upset about this for Catherine or anybody else at all, he just says, well, it's different because there's a race factor in it. And I'm like, so the other ones can get abused and that's fine?
Right?
What's that about? Obviously, dad and brother find out about the official statement put out there, and they're pissed. They're like, what the fuck is this? Our girlfriends had to deal with this shit too. Like,
Get over
where
it.
have you been? Where have you been, bro? So I think at this point, we've only seen her cry once. You get to read the next 3 slides.
Ooh, it's in red.
Yeah.
Now that I know what the code means.
Mm,
As a rule, Meg wasn't looking at the internet. She wanted to protect herself, keep that poison out of her brain. Smart, but not sustainable if we were going to wage a battle for her reputation and physical safety. I needed to know exactly what was fact, what was false, and what meant asking her every few hours about something else that had happened online, or that had appeared online. Is this true? Is that true? Is there a grain of truth in this? She'd often begin to cry. Why would they say that, Has? I don't understand. Can they just make stuff up? Yes, they can.
why does she sound like a 5-year-old?
You're
Like,
right.
what is this?
Can
They just make stuff up?
Yes, they can. And yes, they do. Still, despite the mounting stress and terrible pressure, we managed to protect our essential bond, never snapping at each other during those few days. As we came to the final hours of her visit, we were solid, happy, and Meg announced that she wanted to make me a special goodbye lunch. There was nothing in my fridge, as usual, but there was a Whole Foods down the street. I gave her directions, the safest route, past the Palace Guards, turn right, towards Kensington Palace Gardens, down to Kensington High Street. There's a police barrier. Take a right and you'll see a Whole Foods. It's massive. You can't miss it. I had an engagement, but I'd be home soon. Baseball cap, jacket, head down, side gate. You'll be fine. I promise. 2 hours later, when I got home, I found her inconsolable, sobbing, shaking. What is it? What happened? She could barely get the story out. She'd dressed just as I advised, and she'd run happily, anonymously, up and down the supermarket aisles. But as she rode the escalator, a man approached her. Excuse me, do you know where the exit is? Oh, yes, I think it's just up here to the left. Hey, you're on that program, Suits, am I right? My wife loves you. Oh, that's so nice. Thanks. What's your name? Jeff. Nice to meet you, Jeff. Please tell her I said thanks for watching. I will. Can I get a picture? You know, for my mom. Thought you said it was your wife. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm just grocery shopping today. His face changed. Well, even if I can't take a picture with you, that doesn't stop me from taking pictures of you. He whipped out his phone and followed her to the deli counter, snapping away while she looked at the turkey. F the turkey, she thought, hurrying to the checkout. He followed her there, too. She got into the queue. Before her were rows and rows of magazines and newspapers, and on all of them, under the most shocking and disgusting headlines, was her. The other customers noticed as well. They looked at the magazines, looked at her, and now they too pulled out their phones like zombies. Meg caught two cashiers sharing a horrible smile. After paying for her groceries, she walked outside, straight into a group of 4 men with their iPhones aimed at her. She kept her head down, rushed up Kensington High Street. She was nearly home when a horse-drawn carriage came rolling out of the Kensington Palace Gardens. Some sort of parade. The palace gate was locked. She was forced back along the main road, where the 4 men picked up the scent again, and chased her all the way to the main gate, screaming at her name. When she finally got inside and not caught, she'd phoned her best girlfriends, each of whom asked, "Is he worth this, Meg? Is anyone worth this?" I put my arms around her, said I was sorry, so sorry. We just held each other, until I slowly became aware of the most delicious smells. I looked around. Hang on, you mean, after all that, you still made lunch? I wanted to feed you before I left. Oh my God.
Okay, notice this is the second story she's told him where he wasn't around, and she's running into people who recognize her everywhere.
Right?
I have a really hard time believing the story. This sounds insane, firstly. Secondly, we have a picture of her waiting outside the front gates of Kensington Palace.
Pretty casual.
Nobody's bothering her. And obviously one person took a picture, but I don't see anybody else.
Right? Where are all
And she doesn't particularly look stressed.
Right?
Just standing there. There's rumors that she may have walked by the Daily Mail office waiting for somebody to recognize her before she went back to Kensington Palace. I don't know about that either, but it's a ridiculous story. When she goes back home to Toronto, she's going to keep telling Harry that the press will not leave her alone. They're outside of her house all the time, knocking on the door 24/7, and it's stressing out her dogs. And they're also tailing her mom. And again, I can't find pictures that back this up, because when Diana or Catherine or Camilla are being bothered by paparazzi, you see the other paparazzi in the picture because there's actually a lot of them.
Right.
Megan's saying like 9 or 10 paparazzi around, but there's always just like one picture of her with nobody around her, and she's smiling at the camera, and she's just like walking down the street carrying a bouquet of flowers home. You know, I'm just a little girl with my flowers. In the Harry and Meghan show, they spend a lot of time telling you about the fact that she's just absolutely mobbed everywhere she goes when everybody finds out she's dating Harry. But they, again, don't show you any evidence of this. Any video footage they show of paparazzi chasing somebody, it's never her. So if this was just such a problem, where's the evidence?
Right?
Okay, so now that we know that they're dating, people are going to go through her Instagram and see if they could pick out little hints. And there are some of like hints that she was dating Harry before people knew. You can see barely. He has like these blue beaded bracelets on his wrist. And then she has matchy ones.
Okay.
And she has many pictures where her hand is out with the bracelets on. And then there's this one with the bananas, with the sleep tight kiss kiss. My favorite part about this specific screenshot of the post is one of the comments on the side is, "Which one's Prince Harry?"
That was the first thing I noticed.
Okay, now you got 2 slides from Spare of their first big argument.
Ooh.
This is December 2016. We're not even out of 2016 yet.
Buddy, trust me, I'm aware. And I'm like, it's been an hour and a half. Okay. Maybe the wine went to my head. Maybe the weeks of battling the press had worn me down. For some reason, when the conversation took an unexpected turn, I became touchy. Then angry. Disproportionately, sloppily angry. Meg said something I took the wrong way. It was partly a cultural difference, partly a language barrier, but I was also just oversensitive that night. I thought, why is she having a go at me? I snapped at her, spoke to her harshly, cruelly. As the words left my mouth, oh my god, as the words have not left my mouth. I could feel everything in the room come to a stop. The gravy stopped bubbling, the molecules of air stopped orbiting. Even Nina Simone seemed to pause. Who is that?
Oh, they had music on in the background.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what is going on? Meg walked out of the room, disappearing for a full 15 minutes. I went and found her upstairs. She was sitting in the bedroom. She was calm, but said in a quiet, level tone that she would never stand for being spoken to like that. I nodded. She wanted to know where it came from. I don't know. Where did you ever hear a man speak like that to a woman? Did you overhear adults speak that way when you were growing up? I cleared my throat and looked away. Yes. She wasn't going to tolerate that kind of partner, or co-parent, that kind of life. She wasn't going to raise children in an atmosphere of anger or disrespect. She laid it all out, super clear. We both knew my anger hadn't been caused by anything to do with our conversation. It came from somewhere deep inside, somewhere that needed to be excavated, and it was obvious that I could use some help with the job. I've tried therapy, I told her. Willie told me to go. Never found the right person. Didn't work. No, she said softly. Try again. You are mean to me. You have to go to therapy.
Yeah. Okay. On the one hand, I believe that if somebody starts yelling at you, you very much have every right to say, "Hey, you don't talk to me like that."
Yeah, time out.
What I don't appreciate is the specific line of, "Where did you ever hear a man speak like that to a woman?" Because I don't think it had anything to do with you being a woman. I think he was mad, and that's how he gets mad.
Right.
And I don't like when people use whatever factor about you think makes you more vulnerable as like a cop out. Like,
Right.
you can't say classist things to me because I'm half black, and so now that's racist. And you can't yell at me because I'm a woman. And you can't give me threats online because I'm a mom. I'm so vulnerable. Like, stop. Just ask for the respect you deserve and move on, please.
Also, for
And
me, too, it's the fact that, like, I know you guys haven't been dating super long, and it's been, like, this whirlwind romance, but, like, to me, there's still this level of, like, telling somebody to go to therapy for snapping at you in your first fight after you've been together for, like, 6 months. Not that I don't think people shouldn't go to therapy. I think that's very valid, but, like, I don't know. There's something about just being like, you need to go to therapy. Like, you need to try again.
I think the first time it happens, I don't have a problem saying like, "Hey, I don't like that. That's not gonna happen. If it is, we can't be together." You
Yeah,
know?
totally.
And then if it's repeatedly a problem after that, you could maybe throw in, "Hey, maybe you need some help. But also, maybe you really should consider maybe we're not compatible."
Right? But just, you need to go to therapy. Get your shit together.
It's just the way that she like left the room knowing he's gonna follow her.
Right.
And then when he gets there, she's just like super quiet and calm. And it just feels like, I don't know, it feels like she has like the control. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I don't like it. I don't like it. When she talks about the fact that he's very childlike, and then she has these moments where she like, I feel like she's controlling him, it makes me uncomfy. He's going to go to therapy, but first we're going to talk about the fact that Megan's going to go to India, and Harry tells her.
On the subject of India, we laughed about the advice I'd given Meg before she'd left. Do not take a photo in front of the Taj Mahal. She'd asked why, and I had said, my mum. I'd explained that my mother had posed her a photo there, and it had become iconic, and I didn't want anyone thinking Meg was trying to mimic my mother. Meg had never heard of this photo and found the whole thing baffling, and I loved her for being baffled.
She wasn't baffled. There's no way she doesn't know that picture of Diana sitting alone in front of the Taj Mahal.
I mean, I didn't know that photo.
You're also not her age.
How old is she?
At this time, she's 35, like 9 years ago.
Because when was she born?
I'm just saying, if you were a conscious human being when Diana died, you would know a lot about her, just from living in life.
Okay, so she's 44. Yeah, 81, she would have been like... Yeah, okay.
She's older than Harry. I just wanted to put this one in there because this is his plea at the beginning of their relationship that I don't want you to do stuff that's going to make people compare you to my mom. And he's A, already too late. And B, this is last week. She's still doing it. I don't think she was listening, bro.
I don't think she cares.
Now, Harry's going to therapy.
Yes, I've already lost my mom, of course, but I'm afraid that by talking about her now, here, to a perfect stranger, and perhaps alleviating some of the pain of that loss, I'll be losing her again. I'll be losing that feeling, that presence of her, or what I've always felt as her presence. The therapist squinted. I tried again. You see, the pain, if that's what it is, that's all I have left of her, and the pain is also what drives me. Some days the pain is the only thing holding me together, and so I suppose, without the pain, well, she might think I've forgotten her. That sounded silly. But well, there it was. Most memories of my mother, I explained with sudden and overwhelming sorrow, were gone. On the other side of the wall. I told her about the wall. I told her I had spoken to Willie about my lack of memories of our mother. He'd advised me to look through photo albums, which I'd promptly done. Nothing. So my mother wasn't images or impressions, she was mainly just a hole in my heart, and if I healed that hole, patched it up, what then? I asked if this all sounded crazy. No. We were silent. A long time. She asked me what I needed. Why are you here? Look, I said, what I need is to be rid of this heaviness in my chest. I need, yes? To cry. Please, help me cry.
That's so sad.
That's really sad.
I can totally understand that feeling of like, if it really hurts to think of that person, but if it ever starts hurting less, do they feel like, even though they're passed on, I still feel like they're around? Are they going to feel like I love them less because their absence doesn't hurt as much? He does some other therapy sessions, and he does say that eventually some of the memories start to come back as he's working with this therapist, and I think that's great. That's fantastic. Now, we're going to skip ahead to September 2017. Okay?
So almost a year.
They started dating in July of 2016. So at this point, they've been dating for 14 months. So Megan comes over to Knotcott. This is a good one because I read it and I went, that never really sunk in, what I'm about to tell you, until just now. And then it kind of just like blew my mind. So they're at Knotcott making some dinner. And Harry says, as I smelt the garden and considered this new life, cherished this new life, Meg was sitting on the other side of the kitchen, scooping Wagamama from cartons into bowls. Without thinking, I blurted out, I don't know, I had my back to her. I froze mid-sentence, hesitant to go on, hesitant to turn around. You don't know what, Has. Yes? I love you. I listened for a response. There was none. Now I could hear her or feel her walking towards me. I turned, and there she was right before me. I love you too, Has. The words had been on the tip of my tongue almost from the start, so in one sense, they didn't feel particularly revelatory or even necessary. Of course I loved her. Meg knew that. Meg could see it. The whole world could. I loved her with all my heart. as I never loved anyone else before, and yet saying it made everything seem real. Saying it set things in motion automatically. Saying it was a step. I can't believe it took 14 months for you two to say I love each other?
Yeah, considering how quickly things moved in the beginning, I am shocked by that.
You set out an official Kensington Palace statement for someone you haven't even said I love to yet?
You didn't even love her yet?
You introduced her to your whole family and you haven't even said I love you yet? You have a plan to fly across the ocean every 2 weeks for someone you haven't even said I love you to yet. How did we get here?
We live a different kind of life, Jen.
They're going to be married in 7 months. And you just said I love you.
Yeah, that's a little wild.
While I was reading it, I was like, wait a minute. When was this? And I had to back up. And he was like, September 2017. I was like, no. So, we say our first I love yous. And now he asks her to move in. And of course, they have that conversation about the fact that she's going to have to, stop working and move all of her stuff to Notcott. And they're so excited. Everything's going great. We're moving along. We're chugging along. Last week of September, the Invictus Games are in Toronto. This is the first time these two officially go out together for something as a couple. And Harry's pissed off because Meg was, quote, slammed for wearing ripped jeans. And he is like, but it was approved by the palace. Who cares, Harry? Who cares? Late October 2017, Harry goes out on a trip with Grandma. It's a hunting trip in Sandringham. And he asks her permission to marry Meghan. Because he has to do that as, I think it was the 6th person in the line of succession. He's told he has to ask the Queen, and that doesn't make sense to him. He's like, that's really weird. She's my grandma. Why do I have to ask her to get married? And it's like, that's been the rules, the whole time. And do you remember the abdication where King Edward just gave up the throne because he couldn't get married to his American divorcee wife?
Right.
Do you remember your Aunt Margaret, who wanted to marry Peter Townsend, and that was not approved? Of course not. He doesn't know any of these things because he literally doesn't think about anybody but himself. Fun fact, he never asks her dad for her hand in marriage. Not that I'm a stickler for tradition, but it's because he's never met her dad to this day.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. Basically, Harry finds his grandma for a quick moment, pulls her aside, and is like, I've been told I have to ask for your permission. And she was like, oh, were you now? I guess I have to say yes. She did it in her typical deadpan way of I'm joking around, but I'm gonna say it straight. And Harry is completely confused. He's like, did she say it that way because she doesn't want to say yes? She said, I have to say yes. He does get the permission. He tells his dad and William he's going to ask Meghan to marry him. And his dad kind of suggests that maybe Meghan should keep her job. Even if she doesn't work for Suits, she could act in the UK. And Harry's like, why? Why would she do that? She's gonna join the firm and do what we're doing. And Charles is like, well, I already have to pay for my house and all my stuff. And I also have to pay for William and his family. And I'm not sure I have enough money to cover her and the rest of whatever family you're going to make. Apparently, they found the money because she did stop working. I just thought that was an interesting conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Megan's going to move. She's going to leave her house in Canada. She is going to have to deal with the fact that she has 2 adorable doggos. This is Guy, the beagle, the one that unfortunately passed away in January.
So sad.
I know, poor Guy.
Poor guy.
Poor Guy. She had adopted Guy in 2015 from a kill shelter in Kentucky, which I think is really random, and I would like to know how she found out about a shelter in Kentucky.
Right?
Uh,
Yeah, how?
exactly. Unfortunately, before they move, I guess while Megan's at work, she has somebody come by and take care of the dogs during the day. And Guy ran away, and nobody knows what happened, but he was found a few miles away and couldn't walk. And they had to put casts on his legs. And I would really like to know what happened to that poor doggo. Harry says that when she brought him to Knottcott, that he was still in the casts, and sometimes Harry had to like hold him up so he could go pee. Poor little guy. But also poor little Bogart, because Bogart doesn't get to go. She leaves Bogart with some friends who are neighbors. She says that Bogart is so traumatized by all the paparazzi that he's turned into like an aggressive guard dog. Somewhere along the way, somewhere on the internet, she also tells people that she couldn't bring Bogart because he was too old. But I believe he was like 5. So that's not too old to go on a plane. And while we're here feeling bad for Bogart, I thought we would just also look at his little tiny baby pictures when she got him when he was 6 weeks old. Apparently, she went to a shelter in LA and Ellen DeGeneres was there. This is 2012, way before Megan is famous at all. And I guess Ellen told her, like, you should get that one. But it was probably just her trying to encourage people to adopt dogs, not like, you look perfect for this dog. But Megan always says that Ellen helped me adopt this puppy. And then she abandoned him.
As one does.
Yeah, so November 4th, 2017, at Not Caught in the Backyard, Harry's going to get some electric candles and set up a blanket, bring Guy out there so he can be involved. And he's going to propose to Megan. We're playing a little bit of the video from Netflix because I wanted to involve the fact that there's a picture of Harry on one knee, which means she stopped this engagement to take a picture. And also
A
at
bad
the beginning,
picture.
yeah. And also at the beginning of the video, it is her on a FaceTime call with her friend Jessica. And that's cool. If you are already talking to your friend and then you have to put the phone down because Harry wants to tell you something. But she's on a FaceTime call going, oh my God, it's happening. It's happening right now. And not only is she doing that and she knows what's going on, she's very excited, but she's recording it. Why are you recording your FaceTime call?
Right?
How long were you planning to do a Netflix series? is my question. That's kind of strange.
Not when you really
So
want to be famous.
So they get engaged, and then they announce it to the world. The ring, Harry went to his mother's jewelry collection and harvested diamonds from one of her bracelets to make the ring. And there's also one of the diamonds is a blood-free diamond from Botswana. It's key to look at the ring because it will change over time. I don't know why you would do that, but Meghan feels the need to change her engagement ring. It's not good enough. Also, fun fact, I find these engagement photos really awkward because they agreed to do it, but there is a man-made pond in between them and the paparazzi. So they're just like, hey guys, way over there. December 2017. They get engaged at the beginning of November. They have the photos, and then they do the engagement interview. So here's a clip from the engagement interview.
Because I'm from the States, you don't grow up with the same understanding of the royal family. And so while I now understand very clearly there's a global interest there, I didn't know much about him. And so the only thing that I had asked her when she said she wanted to set us up was, I had one question. I said, well, is he nice? Because if he wasn't kind, it didn't seem like it would make sense. And so we went and met for a drink. And then I think very quickly into that, we said, well, what are we doing tomorrow? We should meet again.
What are we doing tomorrow? Let's meet again.
So how much did you, Prince Harry, know about Meghan? Had you seen her on TV?
No, I'd never even heard about her until this friend said Meghan Markle. I was like, right, okay, give me a bit of background. What's going on here? So no, I'd never watched Suits. I'd never heard of Meghan before, and I was beautifully surprised when I walked into that room and saw her, and there she was sitting there. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to have to up my game. I'm going to sit down and make sure I've got a good chat.
This is the infamous interview where she pretends she has no idea who he is. And she also has now learned why there's a global interest in the British royal family. Now I understand there's a global interest there. Yeah, there is, Meghan. Also, obviously it feels like she has to say she had no idea who he was because he's going to say, I had no idea who she was. And we can't have that.
Right.
December 2017, like I said 5 times before, and had to edit it out. Meghan goes to the family Christmas at Sandringham, which is bananas because girlfriends don't go to Sandringham. You don't get to go till you're married. As in, like, you know how Catherine and William dated for like 10 years?
Yeah.
Almost. She didn't get to go to Sandringham until they got married.
And this bitch showed up as a fiance?
This bitch showed up as a fiance with a poop hat. And
a fiance?
And has the nerve to pretend that this family didn't like her. February 2018. They do the Royal Foundation Forum because we're now bringing Meghan into the mix. We're going to talk about all of our different charities that we're working on and like what are our plans in the future for the Royal Foundation. Here we have a clip.
As family, do you ever have disagreements about things?
Oh yes.
That's all I needed. Do you guys have a problem? Yes, we do. And now, looking back at it, we're like, that was not a joke. This is a little scene before they went out on stage.
Meg asked to borrow Kate's lip gloss, an American thing. Meg forgot hers, worried she needed some, and turned to Kate for help. Kate, taken aback, went into her handbag and reluctantly pulled out a small tube. Meg squeezed some out onto her finger and applied it to her lips. Kate grimaced. Small clash of styles, maybe. Something we should have been able to laugh about soon after, but it left a little mark. And then the press sensed something was up and tried to turn it into something bigger. Here we go, I thought sorrowfully.
I would also not want to share my lip gloss.
You just, like, that's, you don't do that.
That's a bacteria thing.
To me,
I know there are.
in the same category. It's not the same level, but it's in the same category of like, hey, can I share your toothbrush? I forgot mine.
Yeah.
Like, it's not quite that bad, but it's still like, I would never be like, hey, can I use your chapstick? Can I borrow your lip gloss? No.
Yeah, so I know there are some girls that don't mind sharing makeup, but I definitely don't. And again, this is chalked up to her being American, and I again would like to say, stop talking for me. I don't want to hug you and share my lip gloss. March 2018, we get a new puppy named Hula, which is the Setswana word for rain. She's a little black Labrador, and she's adorable. Although I don't think Megan deserves to have any more dogs.
I mean, agreed. She didn't take Bogart with her.
They're like, oh, so you changed your lifestyle so that now you're being hounded by paparazzi, supposedly, and it made your dog's demeanor change, and so you abandon it?
And get a new one.
Cool. May 2018, 'tis time for the wedding. The night before, Harry's going to stay at this place. It's called the Coworth Park Hotel. Somebody will tell me how to say that in one of the comments. Just like when I was having a hard time with Marlboro, some lovely person put in like in little quotes that it should be like MOL-BROH or something like that. So it's Marlboro. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. That's a lot easier. Instead of me trying to say it like the cigarettes, Marlboro.
Which is how my brain wants to say it.
Yeah. The British way is Marlboro. 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 Yeah.
Marlboro.
Okay. So this place that I also can't say is where he stayed the night before the wedding. William was invited to stay the night there too, but he's like, I will stay for dinner, but I can't stay overnight. I have a wife and kids I have to go home to.
I like them.
I like them. My wife just had a baby a month ago. She might want some help.
Right.
Harry was like, I don't understand why he won't stay the night. Is it the fact that we had an argument because I can have a beard at my wedding and he wasn't allowed to? Or is he mad because Catherine and Megan had a tiff over the lip gloss? Or is it the fact that I didn't make him my best man?
Wait, was
And
he
I'm like,
really confused by this?
yes. And I'm like, first of all, I think it's mostly he wants to help his wife with the kids.
I was gonna say, I'm like, he quite literally has a wife and kids, and you guys aren't besties.
Yeah. And also, all of the above. We've been having arguments all the time. I don't want to hang out and get drunk and maybe have more arguments. Too fast. Megan goes to, I think it's Cliveden House. Somebody will tell me if I'm wrong. It's spelled like Cliveden, but I think it's Cliveden. She stays here with her mom the night before. And on the day of the wedding, the Royal Rota, all of the journalists are not allowed inside the chapel. They can hang out outside, nobody inside, because we hate the press. Charles is going to take care of the music. Charles invited Meghan and Harry over earlier and like was playing them different music, trying to get a taste of like what kind of music they want. And they narrowed it down to they wanted like orchestra music, not the organ. And Megan said she wanted them to play some Chopin because Chopin was the only thing that used to calm her dogs down from being bothered by the paparazzi. Yeah. That's an interesting choice. Charles hired the Kingdom Choir, which is a British gospel choir based in London. It was very cool. And then Harry chose Handel's Eternal Source of Light Divine for Meghan to walk down the aisle. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, he is not the Archbishop of Canterbury anymore, but he was at the time. He officiated the wedding. And like he did the actual legal part of the wedding. Meghan and Harry are going to say in the Harry and Meghan Netflix show that the Archbishop had a ceremony with them a couple of days or the day before, and that he married them by their, like, in their hearts, but not legally. And they count that as their real wedding and not this one that was funded by the public and was ginormous and all over the news. This one didn't mean anything to them. Sorry, guys. Sorry, took millions of dollars to have my wedding that I don't care about. They also invited Chicago-born Bishop Michael Curry to deliver a sermon, and it was quite a long sermon. And it was just interesting because the very straight-laced British audience was getting a taste of some like gospel church sermoning, and they all found it very entertaining.
Yeah, I bet they did. They're like, we don't
Yeah.
have this here.
He told the bishop told ITV News that he thought when he got the invite to do it that somebody was pulling a prank on him, like it was a joke. I know in the last episode where we talked about Meghan growing up, it says that somebody said that she was raised Episcopalian, and he's a bishop for the Episcopal Church. But again, I don't know anything about her like actively going to church. I just feel like all the gospel stuff was really cool and nice and a nod to her being half black, but I just don't know if she's actually a part of that gospel culture.
Got it. Like,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's why it feels a little weird for me.
fair.
There was lots of discussions about how Meghan dressed because obviously people have personal feelings about the dress itself, but also the fact that she wore a veil and she wore pure white, even though she is a divorcee and not a virginal little flower. Her veil, she had it designed to have Commonwealth, like the Commonwealth countries' state flowers all through it, which is really cool because in the Harry and Meghan Netflix show, they call the Commonwealth the British Empire 2.0. So, do you like the Commonwealth or not?
Yeah.
And then she also had somewhere in the dress or the veil, she has a piece of that blue and white striped dress she wore on their second date as her something blue. This is the tiara she wore, a beautiful all diamond tiara, but this one over here with the green that Eugenie wears to her wedding in a few months, there is a rumor that Meghan wanted that one, but she wasn't allowed to have it. Whether that was because it was for Eugenie's wedding later, and Eugenie is a bloodborne princess, so maybe she would have more say over what tiara she gets. Or maybe this never happened at all. Who knows?
Who knows?
Either way, when she went to pick a tiara, the queen took her into her dressing quarters, and there were 5 different of the queen's tiaras, and she was like, "You get to pick one of these." And she was like trying them all on, and the queen was like, "Tiaras really suit you." And Meghan was like, "Hell yeah, they do."
She's like, I know, that's why.
Her father, Thomas Markle, as I believe we've mentioned in a different episode, he's living in Mexico City at this point, and he is kind of poorly health-wise. He gets in trouble with Harry and Meghan because he allows the press to pay him for pictures of him getting ready for the wedding. And everybody gets mad at him for that, which I don't understand why. Like, he didn't do anything scandalous other than physically take money, which he probably needed, which is why he did it. And he just had pictures of him getting ready for the wedding. Like, what is the problem?
Right, it's not you guys.
Either way, that happens, and then Meghan and Harry are trying to call him, and they're like, he didn't pick up. And then later we found out he had a heart attack. So he doesn't get to go to the wedding. under terrible circumstances, and Meghan will try to reach out to him later via a letter. We'll talk about that at some other point. But other than that, really, she doesn't really ever see her dad again. So Charles steps in and walks her down the aisle. She just, got walked down the aisle by the future King of England. Whatever.
No big deal.
We talked in another episode about the argument over the children's dresses and the tights that they weren't wearing. The guest list of this wedding is a little funny because if you go on the Wikipedia page, you can see they break down the guest list. Like there is a Wikipedia page for the guest list of this wedding. That sounds ridiculous, but it's there. The top part is all of Harry's relatives that came to the wedding. And then it gets to Meghan's relatives, and it literally only lists Doria, her mother. She's invited some friends, some co-workers from Suits. Her only relative there is her mom. And then she invites people like George Clooney and Oprah, people that have never met her before.
Stop.
I'm dead serious.
Yeah,
She only invited her mom and basically celebrities.
But she's not a clout chaser.
No. She's just a simple lady. So that's strange. Little tiny note. I couldn't find the pictures of the time that I had. During their reception, they take a bunch of pictures. They post some pictures, but they have like a hashtag for their wedding that's Love Wins. And I find that interesting because what is your love winning at?
Right, exactly.
And also, I don't really appreciate that you've commandeered a hashtag from when same-sex marriages.
I was gonna say,
made
I'm like,
legal.
wasn't that like what they used?
That hashtag was Love Wins. Well, like that is very specific for those people over there.
Right, and you
I don't know
just
why you
grabbed
did that.
it.
Yeah,
And you're also not a gay couple.
that we know of. Then they go on a 10-day honeymoon on the Mediterranean. In Spare, Harry's gonna go back to whining about the tabloids. We have the tea with Catherine and William, where Meghan and Catherine have a conversation about Meghan telling Catherine she had baby brain at some point and that Catherine didn't appreciate that. And now everybody's breaking up into Team Cambridge versus Team Sussex on the inside. Like, the press don't know that everything is falling apart yet. But Harry's noticing everything is so stressful. More than once, a staff member slumped over their desk and wept. Despite what certain people were saying about her, I never heard her, Meghan, speak a bad word about anybody or to anybody. Well, let's say, maybe she doesn't do it in front of you.
Right?
He also says that she would send out handwritten thank you notes. She checked on staff who were ill, which I don't want my boss bothering me if I'm not coming to work.
Right?
She sent baskets of food or flowers or goodies to anyone struggling, depressed, or off sick. She bought pizza and biscuits and hosted tea parties and ice cream socials. She shared all the freebies she received, clothes and perfumes and makeup, and with all the women in the office.
She's such a saint.
But for some reason, she was Duchess difficult. And I'm just going to say, ice cream socials are usually something you do at a company where everybody hates working there.
Yeah, that's up there with the pizza party.
Especially when I worked in the dining room at the hospital, the pizza party, we had to make our own pizza.
Yeah, that's shit.
Yeah. So this is where she starts getting the nickname Duchess Difficult. There's the book Courtiers by Valentine Lowe that is on my shelf over there that gets a lot more into depth and detail on the Sussex survivors, I think they call themselves. Apparently working with Meghan and Harry was a freaking nightmare. But Harry thought that when he saw employees slumped over their desk weeping, it's because of the paparazzi.
Yeah, duh. The only reason people are ever upset.
Yeah. Then we go to Eugenie's wedding. I picked this picture because it covers Harry's face with a lamp, and then Meghan's looking directly at the camera again.
Oh, there are cameras here?
Hey. You can't see Harry? That's fine. This is the wedding where they announce to the rest of the family that they're pregnant. Rude.
I was going to say, I'm like, yeah, the thing you do at other people's weddings.
Yeah. And then right after the wedding, they go on their first official Commonwealth trip tour thing. They go to Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, and Tonga. Harry says we returned home to jubilant welcomes and exultant headlines. Meg, the expectant mother, the flawless representative of the crown, was hailed. But the press is awful.
Right?
But this is also the same story. Even though Harry seems like everything's going great, this is the same story that Valentine Lowe said that they got on the plane and begrudgingly had to go to the back to talk to the journalists back there. And they're like, we don't really want you here. You weren't invited. And you're like, yeah, we were. So she's pregnant. They have 2 dogs. We're getting too big for Notcott. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, kind of older house. And they need more space. So she offers them Frogmore Cottage, which at the time was broken down inside to like 5 different apartments for different staff. But I guess nobody was living in there anymore, so they renovated the inside so it was all one big home again. I guess Harry and Meghan supposedly paid for the renovations themselves. Harry says that with her permission, we began sitting down with builders, planning the minimum renovations to make the place habitable, piping, heating, water, even though I'm pretty sure it was like $4 million. But now they're also next to Frogmore Gardens where they can go hang out with the Grumpy Swan Steve. How exciting. So, let's get back to crime.
I walked home from the office and found Meg sitting on the stairs. She was sobbing uncontrollably. My love, what's happened? I thought for sure we'd lost the baby. I went to her on my knees. She choked out that she didn't want to do this anymore. Do what? Live. I didn't catch her meaning at first. I didn't understand. Maybe didn't want to understand. My mind just didn't want to process the words. It's all so painful, she was saying. What is? To be hated like this. For what? What had she done, she asked. She really wanted to know. What sin had she committed to deserve this kind of treatment? She just wanted to make the pain stop, she said. Not only for her, for everyone. For me, for her mother. But she couldn't make it stop, so she decided to disappear. Disappear. Without her, she said, all the press would go away and they wouldn't have to live like this. Our unborn child would never have to live like this. It's so clear, she kept saying. It's so clear. Just stop breathing. Just stop being. This exists because I exist. I begged her not to talk like that. I promised her we'd get through it. We'd find a way. In the meantime, we'd find her the help she needed. I asked her to be strong, hang on. Incredibly, while reassuring her and hugging her, I couldn't entirely stop thinking like a fucking royal. We had a Sentibali engagement that night at the Royal Albert Hall, and I kept telling myself, we can't be late, we cannot be late. They'll skin us alive, and they'll blame her. Slowly, too slowly, I realized that tardiness was the least of our problems. I said she could skip the engagement, of course. I needed to go, make a quick appearance, but I'd be home fast. No, she insisted. She didn't trust herself to be at home alone for even an hour with such dark feelings. So we put on our best kit, and she applied dark, dark lipstick to draw attention away from her bloodshot eyes, and out the door we went. The car pulled up outside the Royal Albert Hall, and as we stepped into the blue flashing lights of the police escort and the white-out lights of the press's flashbulbs, Meg reached for my hand. She gripped it tightly. As we went inside, she gripped it even tighter. I was buoyed by the tightness of that grip. She's hanging on, I thought. Better than letting go. But when we settled into the royal box and the lights dimmed, she let go of her emotion. She couldn't hold back the tears. She wept silently. The music struck up. We turned and faced the front. We spent the entire length of the performance, Cirque du Soleil, squeezing each other's hands, me promising her in a whisper, "Trust me, I'll keep you safe."
This is the event they went to. And he definitely looks like that's what happened before they got here.
Right?
This is not the only picture. Like, I didn't pick this one specifically. But, like, most of the time they sat in this box, he is just like, this is bad. Like,
Also, is
what
that
am I
his
going to do,
version
bro?
of a dark lip?
Yeah, apparently.
Okay.
Something's going on with her contour because her cheek looks dirty.
Right?
Anywho, I hate that story because she knows his history. She knows how fragile he is, really, especially when it comes to protecting the women in his life.
Right.
Even if I was feeling really depressed and maybe thinking about being suicidal, even though I don't want to talk too much about her feelings of being suicidal because I don't want to say that she didn't have them. It's just that how can you do that to him? You are pregnant with his child. You are his wife that he is basically treating like a second chance at saving his mom. And you do this to him? You don't, like, try to go to therapy first?
But she told him to go to therapy on the first argument.
Yeah. This is another time it feels to me that she is playing him. But then I feel bad because it sounds like I'm saying she didn't feel suicidal.
And that's where it's like, I don't want to not give her the benefit of the doubt. Like, you know, I would never say, like, I wouldn't want to presume that she didn't feel that way, you know? And, like,
Right.
that's her husband, that's the person she's supposed to talk to. And, like, yes, you break down at inconvenient times sometimes, and that's just life. But I think given her history, like, I can see where you'd be like, I don't know how much I'm buying this. But also, like, don't want to be a dick and not acknowledge her pain.
Exactly. Even though it is a little crazy how much he finds her sobbing.
Right. But also, like, was she dealing with depression for longer than she actually knows? But, like, here she was telling him to go to therapy. I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know. In the Oprah interview, she's going to say, well, they're both going to say that they couldn't get her help. The palace wouldn't let her see a therapist.
Sure.
That doesn't track at all.
Right?
Not only because Harry's been to multiple therapists, I'm pretty sure most of the people in that family have seen multiple therapists. And they constantly have some sort of campaign going on talking about mental health.
Right.
So this is one of the 3 major things that make me actually despise her. Because I feel like this was playing on his fears and insecurities. And the other 2 are going to come later after they leave. And they are also going to play on his fears and insecurities about losing her like he lost his mother. And I'm going to get mad again. Most of the time, she's just annoying me because she's so fake. And that's fine. Whatever. It's when I feel like she's playing him that I get irritated.
Fair.
That all of a sudden I am Harry's older sister and I'm like, bitch, back off. Okay. February 2019, she writes a letter to her dad. Well, she wrote the letter to her dad previously. The Queen had told her that what she should have done after the wedding is to go see her dad, especially because he had a heart attack. And Meghan came up with excuses of like, well, I can't just go to Mexico. It's going to cause such chaos. And people are going to stalk me from the airport. And I'm like, Catherine has parents. She sees them all the time.
Right?
You can do it. So the queen's like, okay, well, if you're not going to go, just write him a letter. So Megan writes a letter. She sends it to her lawyer's office in California saying that she didn't want it to get intercepted because it had her dad's address on it. Like somebody would see the address and be like, haha, I'm taking this. And so her attorney then mailed it to her dad. And then her dad read the letter and then sold it to, I think, the Daily Mail. He sold it to the tabloids. They're going to sue the tabloids over this because under the argument that this is Meghan's private letter, and so they shouldn't have legally been able to publish it because that's her private property. She does win the case, but I also think, like, you gave it to somebody else.
Right?
Why is he not allowed to
Do what he wants.
do what he wants with it? We will get into the things that irritate me about the letter later. Not right now. Here's the picture of the kitchen floor in Notcott. You remember the fight with William where he threw Harold into the kitchen, onto the floor, and onto the dog bowl, breaking his necklace?
This is
is
the dog bowl?
This is the scene of the crime.
The scene of the crime.
So shortly after this, the Cambridges and the Sussexes' offices, like their households, officially break apart. So now the Cambridges' offices are in Kensington Palace, and the Sussexes take their people and put them in some offices in Buckingham Palace.
Got it.
Okay, more crime. Just read the blue.
All right. He was going on, and I lost the thread. I couldn't understand, and I stopped trying. I fell silent, waiting for him.
Hold on. He's talking on the phone outside on speakerphone to his brother, and they're having another argument.
Okay. I lost the thread. I couldn't understand, and I stopped trying. I fell silent, waiting for him to subside. Then I looked back. Meg was coming from the house, directly towards me. I quickly took the phone off speaker, but she'd already heard, and Willie was being so loud, even with the speaker off, she could still hear. The tears in her eyes glistened in the spring sunshine. I started to say something, but she stopped, shook her head. Holding her stomach, she turned and walked back to the house.
Then we have Archie in that really fun birthing situation where nobody knew it was happening, and babies were announced hours after they were born as being born half an hour ago, and Harry, takes all of her laughing gas in the hospital room.
And it's fine.
It's fine. We all laughed. It was so funny. Summer 2019, they spent a few days away with Elton John and his husband David in France. Elton and David introduced Meghan and Harry to a barrister that suggests that Meghan and Harry get their own lawyer so they can sue the tabloids because the palace won't help them sue anybody. And then my next note is, let the court cases begin! Harry says, that's the whole point, I explain. This isn't about wanting or needing good press. It's about not letting people get away with abuse and lies. Especially the kind of lies that can destroy innocence. Like my wife.
She's very innocent.
He even refers to the nastiness he's seeing to people in the comment section of royal social media and random people tweeting. To the point that he's like, what about that tweet that said, Dear Duchess, I'm not saying that I hate you, but I hope your next period happens in a shark tank. Whoa. That person's nuts.
Right?
You don't have to pay attention to that. And then he says, there's a ton of science showing how unhealthy it is to be publicly hated and mocked. And I'm like, dude, we don't need science.
What?
We know. It's not fun.
Yeah, bullying's bad, buddy. Good job.
September 2019. This is one of those, like, second tier things that make me angry about Meghan. Like, the stuff she does to Harry is number one instant rage red highlighter. This stuff is like orange highlighter. They're going to go on a tour to Africa, South Africa mostly. They're going to, obviously meet people who are living in difficult circumstances. And their lives are definitely not as nice as Harry and Meghan's, correct?
Correct.
So maybe when you get interviewed for the documentary about your tour, you should talk about those people and not yourself. Because this is going to be the first time that Meghan speaks out to the public that her life is so sad.
Could just give us an idea of what the last year's been like.
It's hard. I don't think anybody can understand that. But in all fairness, I had no idea, which probably sounds difficult to understand here. But when I first met my now husband, my friends were really happy because I was so happy. But my British friends said to me, "I'm sure he's great, but you shouldn't do it because the British tabloids will destroy your life." And I very naively, I'm American. We don't have that there. What are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. I'm not in tabloids. I didn't get it. So it's been complicated. I've said for a long time to H, that's what we call it. It's not enough to just survive something, right? Like that's not the point of life. You've got to thrive. You've got to feel happy. And I think I really tried to adopt this British sensibility of a stiff upper lip.
It has its advantages, I guess.
I really tried. But I think that what that does internally is probably really damaging. And the biggest thing that I know is that I never thought that this would be easy, but I thought it would be fair. And that's the part that's really hard to reconcile. But I don't know, just to take each day as it comes.
This is in a documentary about the people they're helping in South Africa. This is not a personal interview. He did ask, "How are things?" And before this, I couldn't find, I didn't get the actual beginning of the clip where she's like, "Thank you for asking. Nobody asks me how I am."
Okay.
This is not the time.
Right?
This is not the time. I also get the feeling that when she said she's surviving, right? One of the things, obviously, she complains about the press and crazy people online, apparently in the comments. But she also complained recently in a Bloomberg interview that she couldn't be herself. She had to wear nylons.
Oh my God.
How did you even remember that to complain about it 5 years later? I have a dress code at work. It's really not that awful. When I worked at the dining room, which first of all, I didn't want to do. I needed money, and that place paid me the most at the time. But I could not dye my hair an unnatural color. I couldn't have nails at all. I couldn't get a visible tattoo unless it was pre-approved by the office that it wasn't going to be too obvious and offensive. I also had to wear a full uniform every day and non-slip shoes that are ugly and painful. I'm sorry for your nylons.
Right?
October 2019, Harry doesn't tell us what it is about, but he spends 72 hours arguing with William some more. I'm wondering if it has something to do with the documentary that comes out with Meghan complaining about herself. November 2019 is when they decide they need to take a break, and they go to Vancouver. This is a couple months before the Sandringham Summit and where we're going to stop. So, that was a lot.
That was a lot. And we have so much more to go.
Yeah. The other problem I'm going to have trying to cut down, although, okay, this next set of notes that I have to make, I'm not also going to be editing multiple shorts and a couple of episodes. I just have to edit the one episode. Those things took up a bit of my time.
Yeah, that's fair.
But we're all caught up now.
Yay!
Do you have any final thoughts? Am I just, in too deep and I get easily irritated by her? Or do you also see it?
I'm really trying to give her some level of like humanity here. Like, I don't want to believe she's so calculated, but like, it's really tough when it's like, they keep crying about the press, and there's not a lot of evidence that what's happening to her is equivalent to what happened to Diana. Like, and with how much they talk about it, I would think, and I know you, and I love you for this, like, you would have found it if that existed.
And I have a hard time with this because I don't like not liking someone. I'm like, there has to be something.
Redeeming?
There has to be something.
Right.
There has to be some, maybe, especially when we get to the suicidal thoughts, where I'm like, I don't want to say that she didn't have them.
Right. And
But at the same time, I can't believe you're doing that to him.
And also, I don't want to not, again, I don't want to not believe them to some extent, but it does feel disproportionate. And I don't want to say, I'm sure the tabloids ate her alive. I'm sure they did. That's their whole thing. That is their shtick. And I can understand feeling attacked by that and being really exhausted by it. And I don't want to discount how that might make somebody feel, especially if it's happening a lot. But yeah, it definitely, like I said, to me, it just feels disproportionate to what may have actually happened.
It also seems unbelievable when Harry tells you how she's acting to, how she's reacting to it, which is,
right.
Are they allowed to make stuff up? What did I do to deserve this? And it's nothing, obviously.
That's their
They're
shit.
the tabloids.
And also,
I'm sorry that they suck.
And also, again, she's kind of positioned herself as a clout chaser in a lot of ways. And so it's you wanted to be a celebrity, you wanted the attention, and now you're getting the attention, and you're like, I never asked for this.
I had no idea.
But you did.
No idea. With my international relations major and being part of the British and Canadian social circles,
where I have consistently kind of upped my little position on the ladder, with each
but I have no idea what's going on. Not a clue.
Right. Yeah, I don't love it.
Yeah.
It does, it doesn't make her look good.
I thought the worst when it comes to her looking like a clout chaser, the absolute worst is her inviting celebrities to her wedding who have never met her.
Yeah, that part's bad.
And your only relative at your wedding is your mom.
Right.
I had to pick somebody. It definitely wasn't Dad.
Right? I'm not even going to go see him.
Oh, God, no. He's going to die soon anyways.
Mexico City, I can't go there.
There's no way I could get there.
Yeah.
Okay. When we come back, I think we'll just kind of breeze through the Sandringham summit and them actually leaving to LA, and then maybe start getting more into the nitty gritty after that, because we've already spent hours talking about the Sandringham summit.
Yeah,
I just think it's crazy how, like, no matter how specific I make a topic, I'm like, I could still do 4 hours.
yeah.
You want to just talk about the Blue Room in Buckingham Palace? Buckle up, buddy.
You got 4 hours?
So, if you're still listening, please like us on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, rate us on
stars.
Apple Podcasts, 5 stars only.
No criticism.
Leave a positive comment. We don't want constructive criticism at all. But with that, we'll be back in a couple of weeks and hopefully just wrap this all up with a nice little bow.
Until the next press, thing comes out about that.
It's going to be so hard.
We'll actually be able to move on to, like, current events.
I think, yeah, maybe next, after Christmas, maybe we could start doing some of those. We'll have to figure that out.
Okay.
But with that, we're going to leave. Have a good day, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.